Hello students, this video of Microorganism Friend and Foe Part 3 is brought to you by Aryabhat National Public School. In this part of the video, we will discuss about food preservation and nitrogen cycle. What is food preservation? In your house, whenever cooked food, especially cooked food, is kept for longer duration, it gets spoiled. Why it gets spoiled? Due to microorganisms. Microorganisms spoil our food. Spoiled food emits bad smell and has a bad taste also. If we eat such food, we become ill, we can become sick. Therefore, it is very important to preserve food to prevent it from getting spoiled. And how can we preserve food? There are some techniques. From this, we can preserve food. The process by which food lasts longer without being spoiled is known as food preservation. And what are the food preservation techniques? Those techniques we will discuss here one by one. The first is chemical methods. How we preserve food with chemical methods? In chemical methods, we add salt, we add sugar, we add oil, and we add some chemicals also. These chemicals are known as preservatives. Some common preservatives are given here. Those are sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate. By adding these preservatives, we can preserve our food for a longer duration. By adding salt, how can we preserve our food by adding salt? In earlier, maybe you have not seen, but I have seen in my home that meat or fish were kept for a longer duration just by applying salt on them. How can we preserve food by adding sugar? There are a lot of jams, jellies that are preserved by adding sugar. Sugar reduces the moisture content, which stops the growth of bacteria. By adding oil, we can preserve our food. In everybody's house, everybody eat pickles. How pickles are preserved for longer duration? By adding oil only. The second method of food preservation is heating. We heat our cooked food from time to time to preserve it for longer durations. For an example, you can say by heating milk, we can keep milk for longer duration. The third method is refrigerating. We can refrigerate. Everybody has a refrigerator in his house. By keeping the temperature low, it also stops the growth of microorganisms in our food. Pasteurization of milk is another technique to keep milk for longer duration. In pasteurization of milk, what is done? The milk is heated above 70 degree for 15 to 30 seconds and then suddenly it is chilled and stored. By this, we can prevent the growth of microbes in milks, and we can keep milks for longer duration. This process of suddenly heating at 70 degrees centigrade for 15 to 30 seconds and suddenly cooling it is known as pasteurization. It was discovered by a scientist, Louis Pasteur. The next method is drying. In the earlier chapter, crop production and management, we discussed about how we store our food grains. We store our food grains by drying them, by reducing the moisture content in them, because these moisture inhibits the growth of microorganisms. If we remove the moisture from our food grains, the growth of microorganisms is stopped. Therefore, by drying, we can keep our food grains for longer duration. We can preserve our food. The next step is canning. What is canning? You buy several eating items from your nearby shop. Similarly, there are several other items that are kept in a closed container. The air is removed from that container, and only the thing that we are going to store is kept inside, and it is closed. It is canned. This stops the growth of microorganisms in our food, and from this method we can keep our eatables for longer duration. These were the methods of food preservation. Our next topic is nitrogen cycle. It is same as you have heard and you have learned about water cycle, that water moves in a cycle. It is used in a liquid form. It evaporates when it gets heated, and it rises above the surface of the earth, and above the temperature is low, then it is cooled down and again converted into small droplets of water, and when these droplets become heavy, they precipitate and again come on the ground in liquid form. In the same fashion, nitrogen gas is circulated in various life forms, from gaseous form to different forms. The circulation of this nitrogen in various life form is known as nitrogen cycle. Here it is defined. The circulation of nitrogen in various life forms is known as nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is present everywhere. It is present in air, that is atmosphere. It is present in soil. It is present in plants. It is present in animals, including human beings. Nitrogen is a part of proteins that we eat. Nitrogen is a part of vitamins. Nitrogen is part of nucleic acid. Nitrogen is especially important for plants. But there is a limitation. Plants cannot use nitrogen gas directly from the atmosphere, as they use carbon dioxide or oxygen directly from atmosphere. Then how they use nitrogen? First, this nitrogen is converted into nitrogenous compound, nitrogenous soluble compound that plants can absorb from their roots. Conversion of this gaseous nitrogen into usable form for plants is called nitrogen fixation. Here it is defined. Conversion of gaseous nitrogen into usable form, that is nitrogenous compounds, for plants is called nitrogen fixation. And how this nitrogen fixation is done? It is done, nature has made some mechanism. Due to from that mechanism, this nitrogen, this atmospheric nitrogen, is converted into nitrogenous compound and again back into nitrogen gas. Some nitrogen fixing microbes are rhizobium bacteria and blue-green alga. We have already discussed, learnt about rhizobium bacteria in earlier classes. These bacteria are present in the root nodules of leguminous plants, and these bacteria convert the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compound, just like nitrites or nitrates. And these nitrites and nitrates are in a soluble form. They mix with water and they are absorbed by plants. Here a cycle is given. In this cycle, you can easily understand that how this nitrogen cycle is completed. Here you will find atmospheric nitrogen. This atmospheric nitrogen is converted into nitrogen fixing bacteria into nitrogenous compound, like this here. Again, this nitrogenous compounds are used, mixed into soil, and from soil it is absorbed by plants here. And some of which are not used, again converted by microbes into nitrogen gas. From plants, again here, we'll take it from here. From plants, animals, including human beings, take plant as a food, eat plant as a food. This nitrogen is then again transferred into human beings and animals, and when these animals or plants die, again the nitrogen present in protein, present in vitamin, as a form of in vitamin present in human beings and animals, are again converted into nitrogenous compounds by some microorganisms. In this way, this nitrogen cycle works. I will repeat again. Atmospheric nitrogen is converted into nitrogenous compound by microbes. This nitrogenous compound mixed in the soil with water and absorbed by plants. These plants take this nitrogenous compound and use them in making their food. This food is again taken by some plants, animals, and human beings. After these plants, human beings, or animals die, again these nitrogenous compounds are converted by nitrites, usable compounds for plants, by microorganisms. And some nitrogenous compounds, nitrates or nitrates, that are not used by plants are again converted into nitrogen gas by some microorganisms. In this way, this nitrogen cycle works. Thank you for watching. I will send you some more questions apart from this the question present in your textbook for your practice. Please write those in your notebook, fair notebook. Thank you.